Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome NTA Chair Chase Poffenberger.
Well, thank you, everybody. We've made it to our last day. And I wanted to say also thank you to Renee and Elaine for getting all those thoughts out about what this event means, the fact that we're all together for the first time. My aha moment came, I think, on the first breakfast we had on Thursday, when I realized that we've all been living virtually to a certain extent, and probably for the foreseeable future, there will be virtual options as we make our way beyond the pandemic. And I realized that sometimes your feet are at a conference and your mind is on the rest of your life or your email or whatever. And it dawned on me that this is a time, as we're building back better and more meaningfully and intentionally, that for me, being here in mind and feet was like what I was going to do. And it's even made it even better, when you're here in body and spirit. So that was my aha. So we are so grateful to our friends around the country, around the world, who have sponsored Contact this year. Sponsors, your support adds value to this conference and to our working relationships. I would love for all of our sponsors and our host city friends to stand so we can show our appreciation. And there are so many sponsors. There's something like 8 screens of sponsors. Such generosity for this event. So we can't thank you enough. So let's talk about the sponsor for today's lunch. This sponsor is our Contact 2022 host city. And if the guy who's going to be coming up on stage eventually, if he looks familiar, it's because, as you know, some of us actually arrived in Anchorage last year, only to have to turn around and come home. But we so look forward to being in Anchorage in 2022. So let's hear from Dave Kasser of Visit Anchorage.
Live your dreams, be wild and free. Ain't no need to explain them to me. You can run to the mountains or run to the sea. Just live your dreams, be wild and free. Well, I know a guy who plays the blues, sings every sad song like he's worn them shoes. He's out on the road just burning it down, making everybody dance in every little town. And I know some girls, they love to ski. They're beautiful and strong and they inspire me. With their sparkles and their tutus and their smiles so high, they go flying down the mountain like a big ride. Dreams be wild and free. baby girl, and I love her to the moon and back. And I know some guys, they keep it real. We love each other as we come, 'cause that's the deal.
Choose Alaska.
And I never have to wonder just where I stay. Just singing all night in a family band. Yes, I'm singing.
Testing one. Okay, we're up. So I did the courtesy of wearing the same jacket so you'd recognize me. So I just wanted to mention something about that video. That video is a compilation of cell phone video that my staff took last year and in the previous year. And we thought we've all got these snapshots of video. We should just put them all together and add. If you traveled with Spiff last year in the pre-fam, that's his band, Hope Social Club. That's his music. So it's very much, that video is kind of a gift from us that we offer to you. And that's all footage that we just leading fams that we took with our own cameras. So, and we're not professionals. So I thought it turned out really well. Don't you think so? So, can I get a do-over in 2022, please? I really want to thank Chase first for introducing me, and then Catherine and Dawn and the whole NTA team that worked so hard to get things ready for last time, and we're kind of in a good position, certainly, for everyone to come back up for our do-over. These are the dates, and I should mention that in the centerpieces, if your birthday is in March or whoever's closest leading up to the contact, you get to take home the centerpiece that's on the table. And one of these tables has a little gold tag on the tag of the animal. And if you have that tag, then I owe you a helicopter flight when you arrive in contact in March of this coming year. So just holler out if you have a little gold Visit Anchorage tag on the back of, it's on the back of the red tag. So it's just an oval. I'm sure you'll find it. Okay. So Anchorage, Anchorage is open. We were actually open last summer. We projected to have about 20% occupancy. And in fact, we did a lot better than that, but mostly because our hotels were housing fisheries people that were being quarantined before they went out to the more remote parts of Alaska. And so we actually did okay hotel-wise, certainly not to the extent that we would normally. And this year, we're projecting to be at about 50% occupancy. And I think that's conservative. I think we'll have a pretty good season coming up with the independent travelers and with group travel land packages. So it's interesting because we, of course, this is where, if you're not familiar with Alaska at this point, Anchorage is right there in the center of South Central Alaska. And I'll talk more detail about why that's advantageous. And in the coming season, of course, as we move in through the summer and the fall, we enjoy great wild weather right on the ocean in the Chugach and Kenai ranges of mountains. So it's really spectacular. This coming season, we actually are up about 37% in airlift to Alaska. I think a lot of airlines put planes towards Alaska. They knew there was demand there for visitors. And so I am projecting, I'm pretty confident I can say that airline travel to Alaska this coming season will be cheap because there's a lot of seats going there and people are not cruising. So they'll want to fill those seats. So if you have a group that you think might be interested in going to Alaska this summer, that is certainly going to be less expensive for the air seat going up. Just to give you an example, my ticket, when I return from this trip, I'm doing a Florida series, my ticket from Fort Lauderdale was $150 back to Anchorage. So the thing that won't be cheap are rental cars. And that's true across the country, and we're no exception. I think we have about 60% of our 2019 inventory. I think that group departures, small group tours, riding the railroad, guaranteed departures with Premier Alaska Tours. I have out on my table a whole lot of local receptives that can help you bring a group to Alaska this summer if you would like. There are dates that are currently sold out, but there's still availability. And of course, we have a lot of hotel inventory as well. So this is right outside my office, right downtown 4th and F Street. This is our log cabin information center. And this is kind of what it looked like last summer. There wasn't the big groups of folks, but we were operating and we had trolley tours and things like that departing. On your tables as well is a very handy, I know a lot of you have picked them up already. This actually literally came off the presses just as COVID was hitting the press. And so if you haven't seen it before, this is a very handy piece for you with great itinerary ideas and great partners that are based in Alaska, and kind of answers all the questions that we know as tour operators that you are interested in: travel, distance, times, temperatures, things like that. So the key things that people go to Alaska to see are still there. They'll be there for a long time to come. But whether it's glaciers or wildlife, Alaska Native and other cultures, adventure. Getting out and kayaking and hiking and stretching your legs. I think this is the thing that people have been thinking about this last year is getting out and doing more and being more active. Of course, in 2020, base camp itineraries were very popular to base yourself in a full service property in downtown Anchorage and doing a different adventure each day, but coming back to the mothership in the evening. And that's still a great option for some folks in the coming summer, whether it's full service or boutique properties. Or like the Lakefront Hotel here out on Lake Hood, Lake Spenard, where we have so many of our small planes taking off from. Major attractions in Anchorage, like the Anchorage Museum. There's plenty to do to fill 2 or 3 or 4 days. And these facilities are open and operating, and we just literally last week raised all of our occupancy, whether it's restaurants or venues like this, to 100%. So there are still recommendations for mask wearing and that type of thing, but they are not required. And you may have heard our governor say that if you have folks that want to get a vaccine when they land in the Anchorage airport or any of 5 major airports in Alaska, they can get their vaccine on their Alaska trip. If you're not familiar with the Alaska Native Heritage Center, it's a great spot just east of Anchorage, and you can meet the artists and hear the local stories and tour the village sites. And folks can fish right in downtown Anchorage on Ship Creek, where Anchorage got its start. We have an active salmon fishery like this bad boy right here, just below the Hilton Hotel. So like I said, getting out on the trails, biking, this is what people have been thinking about. I think not just across the United States, but even in Alaska. This has really, the trail systems in Alaska has allowed us to get out and stay active, even at the worst of times. And so we have operators locally that can take your group for a hike, and it doesn't have to be the top of Flat Top like Emily is here at the top looking out towards Anchorage. There's all kinds of great options. And on our trails, there are moose. About 2,000 moose live in Anchorage. And like you saw that cell phone video at the beginning, this is the time of year in May and June where we see a lot of those moose being born in our front yards. We have guaranteed wildlife like our Alaska Zoo, which specializes in Northern Hemisphere animals, and it's all on huge trails and large areas. And most of these animals came from, a situation where maybe they were orphaned and now they're homed at the zoo. But in the spring, particularly, you can see lots of different kinds of wildlife. Anchorage is uniquely situated in the middle of 8 different national parks. And these are 4 of the most popular to experience. And if you have clients wanting to see the bears out at Katmai, then you need to bring them in August. That's the peak time for that. And you access by air, like with Russ Flying Service, to have experiences like these. Just to the south of Anchorage, Kenai Fjords National Park can be accessed just for the day, or can do an overnight program. And this is Major Marine Tours, of course, and their new boat out in the Fjordlands with a pod of orcas. Not unusual to see 3 or 4 different kinds of whales, also rafts of otters, humpbacks, and of course, puffins are very popular as well. And of course, Denali National Park, 20,320 feet, highest peak in North America, stands up like a huge billboard, especially when you're in the town of Talkeetna. And I know the pre-fam folks were up there. Actually, I think that's where you all were when I had to make the call and say, you need to come home. So thank you for coming to Alaska. And I'm sorry I had to send you away. And those of you who didn't make it, thank you for not coming to Alaska. So it's all good. This is when you land by small plane up in the Denali Amphitheater on Ruth Glacier. This is the kind of view that you would experience. And it's a real high point. And you can celebrate all these experiences with great local brews. We have a really dynamic outdoor dining and restaurant scene, and particularly last year, that's how our restaurants pivoted. They just put their tables out on the street. We closed the streets down. It was a very festive summer season. And this place, 49th State Brewery, actually, it basically was like Oktoberfest all summer long. So great food and great seafood and locally grown Alaska vegetables. So couldn't be better than that, with great views of Mount Susitna, the Sleeping Lady. Self-drive itineraries, as I said, are a very popular option, and those are filling up quickly. We got some CARES funds at the end of last year, and we were able to put them towards creating some new materials, sales materials. And if you would like to use those in your sales efforts, please let me know. Alaska Railroad has great Alaska packages. They don't just book train seats. They can take care of your hotel in Denali. They can take care of your hotel at Alyeska and your different excursions. So they make it real easy for you. And you get those folks out to see the wildlife and experience places like Alyeska Resort just to the south. Alyeska this summer is opening a Nordic spa. If you're not familiar with a Nordic spa, it is completely outdoor, and it's less about facials and scrubs, and it's more about walking through the woods and having hot pools and cooling pools and saunas. And you can get some massage work done, but it's all outdoors. So you wear your bathrobe and you walk along a path and you spend a few hours, and it's just a very tranquil, great experience that will be opening this summer. So it's another great option for groups that want some flexibility in their tour and a little bit of decompressing. So this is the top Alyeska Resort, and very common to see families of bears when you're out on the Winter Creek Trail from Alyeska going out to Crow Creek Mine. And right from Girdwood or in Anchorage, going, if anybody finds that gold tag, going out on a helicopter flight and landing on a glacier and flying the face of a glacier, and maybe doing some dog mushing while you're up there. And the Wildlife Conservation Center, great behind the scenes programs for your clients to get in a little deeper and to the brown bear, and they have actual moose encounters where you get to feed a moose. And actually one of our members has a Kiss of the Moose program where you put a carrot stick in your mouth and the moose takes it out of your mouth. And we've got some great slow motion videos of people having a carrot taken out from by a big moose named Rocky. So we have large boat operators like the Phillips 26 Glacier cruise that's like up to a 300 passenger vessel. And we also have small boat operators. So it's just your tour group, like Lazy Otter here, which can accommodate groups of 30 or less. And they land on shore and drop the nose down, and your group can go out and do some hiking around the icebergs that are resting on the beach. So that's the owner there, Mike. And of course, actually walking on the glaciers are very accessible. And this is probably one of the most affordable ways for your group to access. And this is Matanuska Glacier just to the north. And of course, Independence Mine, historic mining area, the Muskox Farm in Matsu Valley, and the Reindeer Farm. And this is where Rocky the Moose lives if you want your group to have that carrot moose kiss experience. And that's Dawn from our sales team with Sled Dog Puppy. We have a lot of local tour operators that would be happy to accommodate your group. And here's a FAM that we just hosted back in March. It was our first FAM, getting folks coming in. They had a great time, and this will be you next year when you come up for contact. So, we had spectacular aurora this year. I'm sure next year will be very similar. So we look forward to you having that experience if you haven't already. So again, thank you so much. Thanks for giving us the opportunity for a do-over in 2022, and I have a little video to share with you, and look forward to being in touch. And if there's anything I can do for any of you in the coming year, I'm very happy to do the best I can for you. Thanks so much.
Hey guys, we just arrived in Anchorage, Alaska.
As soon as you step out of the airport, the mountains are just right there.
So close you can almost touch them.
Amazing.
Yeah, let's check it out.
Let's go. The views were amazing, like they've been everywhere all day. Everywhere you look is just another incredible view.
Just the drive was worth the trip. Made our way to Bird Point,
Which was incredible. The water is so far out and it's sparkling, and then you see these huge mountains like just surrounding you everywhere. It's like you're being swallowed by these giant mountains.
yeah, like rays of light shining through the clouds and like the gradients of the colors. It's amazing.
Wake up from a daydream, feel your neurons ignite. Levitate your body.
I'm sorry if the camera is shaking, but I just have adrenaline pumping through my veins right now because we just got done feeding a dangerous wild animal.
We just got a porcupine. Was way cuter than I was expecting it to be.
I'm ready to just throw everything away and move up here and just feed Twix full time. Make that my career.
You see pictures of bears and you think it's going to be this amazing creature, and then you get super close in person and there's just nothing else like it in the world to experience that kind of closeness.
And this guy back here, look how cute and chubby he is. Winter ready.
Everything had so much personality. Wherever we ended up, we felt really part of that particular shop or restaurant.
Hey everybody, we are here on 20 Mile Glacier and just look at this place. This is incredible.
Wake up from a daydream, feel your neurons ignite.
It's like we're on another planet, but we're just outside of Anchorage. We took a 30-minute car ride to Girdwood, hopped in a helicopter, and now we are on a glacier.
The sun's out and there's this really vibrant turquoise color coming through. So it's absolutely magical.
I just found myself smiling. I couldn't stop smiling.
The sun just came up right through this pass, and it was incredible. There's really nothing like it. I mean, I didn't want to leave. I wanted to stay on that glacier all day. Just to be like in the middle of all these mountains, it is like the middle of nowhere. It's a whole experience.
Make it shine like gold.
To think about how much stuff we've gotten done in the trip to Anchorage. We've been kayaking, we've been hiking, animals, glaciers. I mean, we're just crossing stuff off our bucket list left and right.
So we need a whole nother bucket because there's just so much to do here.
Before I invite Catherine to come join me up on stage, I would just like, on behalf of the NTA board, to have all of us acknowledge what our mighty and wonderful NTA team does for us, you know, between events, every day, every week, and how skilled they are and how committed they are during a very difficult time for all of us. So I would just like to give the whole NTA staff a huge round of applause. This, you know, I'm not telling you all anything you don't know, but this industry is so personal, and, you know, these relationships are so personal, and we're family and they're our family. And during this past year, Catherine and I, you know, spoke week in and week out. Sometimes she was lifting me up, sometimes I was lifting her up. I think the level of the number of times we all saw each other on Zoom, you know, was a lifesaver for lots of us who felt like no one else really understands exactly what we're all going through except all of us. So, Catherine, please join me up here.
Chase, thank you so much for that. And before I get to the real reason I'm up here, I also want to just definitely thank the NTA board and Chase for your leadership and just being being behind our team. We appreciate it so very much. So what I just love is that we saw Alaska and what's coming up, and we're here in Memphis, just the amazing diversity that we have in terms of within the membership and what you all get to experience. And I think it's just awesome. And I can't imagine a better place than Memphis to kick off our in-person events. And I can't imagine a better person than Lisa Catron to have spearheaded this. I mean, Lisa, you exemplify the warmth and the energy and the open arms of Memphis, you know, absolutely. And why don't you start making your way up here, because, you know, we just want to thank you and Memphis for sticking with NTA in this really unusual time. And, you know, we have something for you that is just an incredibly small token of our appreciation. And it reads, with gratitude for your hospitality, friendship, and contribution. You're crying. Don't cry, because I will cry. For Contact 21.
Wow. Oh, man. Y'all, it's been rough. I don't know if y'all know how rough it has been. Not this, but other things, it really make you realize, face to face and seeing people. And not only that, I had a rough spot, but I'm here. And I just want to say thank you. I love you. And I'm glad to be back with my family. I mean that. And it's one thing about it, y'all know, y'all ask me, I'm gonna figure it out and I'm gonna make it better. So thank you, NTA. I'm glad to be back home with you all. And guess what? We getting this travel on back on board, baby. All right, thank y'all. Love y'all.
Okay, so I have to tell you, the Power Hour was awesome. I loved all of the comments about what this has meant for everyone to come back together. And I leaned over to Dawn and I said, I am so happy. I just want to cry. And she said, don't you dare, I will throat punch you. I am such an emotional person. I mean, the board, I cry in front of the board, I cry in front of the staff. But yeah, she said, I will throat punch you. So I didn't cry. But before housekeeping, we do have a few shout outs because besides Lisa Catron and the amazing, Memphis tourism, there are some other amazing elements that really made this event what it is. And I want Dawn to share the first one.
Okay. So this is my 6th contact, and it has been by far the most challenging one that we have had from a planning experience. And I know that all of you can relate to that because you feel it every day. I've said this many times this year about our host partners that we're working with, both Cleveland and here in Memphis, that the right partners come along at the right time. And that has been especially true this year. And I cannot say that enough. So Lisa, of course, you have been amazing to work with. I will forever consider her a friend, or my soul sister, as she likes to say. I also, though, want to publicly acknowledge some people that don't typically get recognized for the work that they do at shows like this. And that is our amazing hotel staff that we have worked with. When I got here the other day, or Monday, it seems like it was just the other day, when I got here Monday and we had our pre-con, I told them about the group and NTA and the expectations and just that you all did the same thing for a living every day and what you would be looking for. And they have knocked it out of the park in my book. They have made this event happen with me. They have helped me to do it safely and to make it memorable for all of you. So at the risk of leaving someone out, I would just like to say thank you to Tracy, Chef David, John, I don't think he's here today, Alan, Roderick, Renata, and the entire banquet staff, and I hope I get these correct, Gladys, Sharita, Alexandria, and Amadi for helping us through this most unique experience. So please give them another round of applause. Lori, thank you so much for your hospitality. We have so enjoyed being here and look forward to seeing you in Cleveland. And then also just a special shout out to Shirley and Laura for being here this week and helping us out. They have been invaluable. So thank you all very much.
All right, so a few more shout outs. So I want to thank Dave Sieben and Ashley Mills and your on-site crew. M Squared on Stage, they're basically family. If you don't know them, they're our amazing AV team, and they help us look so good. But they're family, love them to death. Can't imagine an event without them. So thank you so much. a shout out to the NTA team at home, Beth and Todd and Kendall and Jen. We couldn't have done it without them. Miss them so much, and definitely have a debt of gratitude to them. And to our on-site team, Abby, just so glad that you are here with us. She's helped keep the sponsors happy. She's done all of our social media and just anything and everything. She's our glue that keeps us together. And Philip, I've heard so many great comments about the education. It's all thanks to the great work that Philip has done and the innovation with the QR code and helping with their virtual attendees. So thank you so much. And Bob, who is the master of words and messaging, you know, if I say anything funny, that's because he wrote it for me. So, so thank you so very much. And Dawn, I don't see you now, but oh, there you are. Okay. You know, we've known each other forever. She calls me Kathy, which I'm not a Kathy, and I call her Phyllis. So if you want the story, we'll tell you, but I have known Dawn for a very long time, and she's not only an amazing colleague, but a dear friend, and she is so very good at what she does, and she puts heart and soul into everything because she loves what she does. So thank you, Dawn. And she didn't have to throat punch me because I got through that without crying. All right, so real quickly, because I know we have some exciting things to get off to. So as you just heard, Contact 22, we're in person again, March 23 through 26 in Anchorage. But don't forget, we have Cleveland first. That's November 14 through 17. And I think that sounds like a 4-day event. So that's awesome. And remember that each of you play a role in helping this association grow and your business grow. So if you see someone out there who's not a member or who hasn't been to an event, encourage them to be a part of this amazing community. The educational outings start very soon. We went through all that earlier. Graceland tours. Okay, so the shuttles start at 5:15 from here. So I think you all know when your tour may be. So just make sure that if you have a 5:30 tour at Graceland, you need to be on that 5:15 shuttle from here. And I think a really fun way to conclude is to say that the shuttles begin at 5 a.m. tomorrow, if you need one of those. And for all of you mommies out there, happy early Mother's Day. All right, so have a great afternoon. Thanks, guys.